right! Hold them back!
That was barely enough to work up a sweat, yes? That is quite a lot of crystals. Well, we'd best start bashing. Whatever doesn't shatter is...
Look! Over there! Ready the cannon!
Cannon fire. Keep your heads down and those bastards may just do our job for us. Spiders. Of course, if it's not one thing, it's another. This one is finished, no? This rifle had best be worth it. Let us be gone before these louts improve their aim.
Still alive, I see. That means plenty of dead Azanites, which makes me a happy soldier. But we're outnumbered here, and the tunnels have been overrun with more of Jane's dogs.
How many soldiers do you have here?
Not many. These are the lower tunnels. We sent most of our men to the breach closest to the court.
What's the situation?
We have a breach at the old transport shaft. The dwarves built it here. My men weren't able to... You might find some in our storage chamber, but...
I'd better...
Thank you, Legionnaire. I'll round up a few soldiers and make a stand at the court. I pray it won't come to that.
Sneaky little soldiers. They've trapped the Royalists on the far side of these platforms.
Are the other tunnels breached as well?
Got one!
Hold the line. The Azanites will never reach the court.
have nearly the explosives we require for a truly impressive boom. Unbelievable. It is like an ocean of stars below the Earth. We could load the explosives into that minecart, perhaps.
Much obliged.
You're back. I don't suppose...
I have it right here.
Lord Devonsey was right about you. I don't know how to thank you enough. Please, take these items. I'm sure you'll need them before you've seen the last of Jane Cassinda.
I hear the tunnels have yet to be fully sealed. I hope my... The Pay Knight! You have it! Wonderful! You have ensured the future of geomancy. Please, take these items. They're prized possessions from the Royal Armory. A fair reward for your contributions.
Such a disappointment for you.
Legionnaire, move the platforms. We won't last long trapped here. That's it. The platforms are in place. Move!
one is finished, no? Can't have you dying on us.
Much obliged.
And that takes care of that. Quickly! Get clear before the fuse burns down. Well now, that was certainly vigorous. I think I'm still feeling the aftershocks. Look out! The Azonites have cannons sighted on us. This one is finished, no?
let them through! For the Queen!
To this treatment. Quite so romantic is a nice roaring inferno, yes? You hear that drilling, yes? I wonder what it is.
I'm told that the tunnels are sealed and Jane's forces are repulsed. That was fine work. Now she's trying to drill her way inside at the base of the deep well. You heard the noise in the tunnels, no doubt?
What kind of drill are we talking about?
Goblin technology. Easy enough to procure if you have contacts in Stonebridge, and everyone does. We acquire our cannons the same way.
Phineas and I have prepared a trap for Jane. It will require all our remaining stores of black powder.
We'll need to shut down the stone stream, allow the combustible vapors to accumulate at the bottom of the well.
So if the vapors collect at the bottom of the deep well, we can set off an explosion.
And consume Jane's army and fire. If any survive, they'll surely be crushed by falling rock, and their tunnel will be buried as well. I've taken some of the cannons that you saved from the swamp and set them at the bottom of the well. If Jane's forces break through the tunnel too soon, they'll provide a tactical advantage.
What do you think of our plan? Lord Devonsey is sure it will work, but I should like to hear the Legion's opinion too.
This is our best chance to inflict terrible losses on Jane, and still keep most of your people alive.
Most of Jane's soldiers are deluded and young. What a horrible way to die, for men and women who are little older than me. I'm sorry. You must think me silly and soft. If you and Lord Devonsey are agreed, then I shall trust your judgment.
Phineas will climb to the top of the well and shut off the stone stream. Will you go with him and keep him safe?
Phineas will be safe with me, as long as he stays close.
Right. I've got to fetch a few books and scrolls. I'll meet you at the top of the well. I've lowered the platform for you. Step onto it. There you are. Let's hurry. I should be able to form a path to the center.
Dark Sister. It's even more beautiful up close.
There it is. I've never been this close. Sad that we must put it to rest. This will take a few moments, and all of my focus. Sentinels! They won't stop until I hawk Stone Stream. Keep them back!
Ah, look, we have guests. More sentinels, I think.
It's like trying to hold back a river. I'm trying.
They will not die. This hardly seems fair.
It's beginning to stop. Just a little while longer.
Poor dear Phineas is completely defenseless. We must hold these things off.
I have it! It's done. I need to rest a while. Go on, quickly. I'll be safe here.
Phineas did it, didn't he? The fans have stopped, which means that the well is going to be a dangerous place very soon. Unfortunately, it won't be soon enough. Jane's army broke through and her men are storming into the bedrock. Lord Devonsey and his soldiers are holding them off. Help them buy us some time to get our explosives ready. Then we'll send those bastards to Azanai.
The battle below seems to be fairly raging, yes?
Fight for Queen Rosalind!
I'm glad you're safe. Look, down there. We held the high ground, but they're pushing us back. My soldiers need your help. You can take the floating platform to the bottom. Thanks to you, we still have our cannons from the swamp. We'll use them to cover you until Roderick signals us all to retreat. Do whatever you can to delay Jane's army. We need more time for the vapors to build up at the bottom of the well.
Gas smells truly vile.
Hold your peace. My Lady Jane Cassinder calls parley.
Lower your weapons. We've come here to talk. I would know who leads my enemy's army. Tell me, why is your face so familiar? Are you the child of some lord that I've slain?
My father was Hugh Montbaron, Grand Master of the Legion. You murdered him in the Mornweald.
My lady, he was one of the Legionnaires in Ravensrill. My life was spared by his word.
Mercy from the Legion? I find that hard to believe. Unless it was some kind of ploy. Violence has always been the Legion's way. Ever since Hugh Montbaron murdered the old king. Did you plan the same for little Queen Mouse?
Still telling the same lies, even after 30 years? You've certainly profited by them, so I shouldn't be surprised.
You think me a monster? An irrational woman mad for power? I had good reason to act as I did. The old king. The man your legion sought to murder and displace. He was my father.
And your mother? Who was she?
An Archon. One of the last of her kind. Granted shelter and solace by my father, the king.
If your father was the old king, then you and Rosalind are family.
By blood, Rosalind is my niece. But I will never call her kin. Her family stood by, content to watch, while I destroyed the Legion and avenged our father. Only then did they turn against me. They raised an army to put me in chains. A mistake, they'd tell you. If they were not all dead.
Rosalind had no part in any of this, so why fight her?
Because Rosalind is weak. She could never rebuild this nation alone. She'll be forced to rely upon others, like your Legion. And you will have power over her. But that is what you want, is it not? I have no need to make such bargains. I am strong enough to rebuild my father's kingdom on my own. And greater powers, not of this world, have shown their favor of me. I will...
Rosalind said nothing of this to me. Does she know that she's your niece?
Perhaps she doesn't know, if her family kept it from her. What better way to let a shameful secret die?
We've spoken enough about your father and his kin.
Now you know why I lay claim to this kingdom. I am well within my rights.
I don't believe any of this. You offer no proof besides your word.
She may be telling a part of the truth, but not the whole.
They need not be killed, my lady. We could offer exile, or...
Not to the Legion. No. I have heard the voices of my mother's lost gods. On this day, they will grant me victory over you and the Pretender Queen. This parley is finished. Remain here, and you will be slain. Try to run, and I will hunt you down. We shall not speak again.
Surely Phineas was joking when he mentioned the war beast, yes? Please tell me he was joking.
The war beast
just lay dead, its fall testament to the might of the 10th Legion. But it seemed a Pyrrhic victory, as the Azunite army pushed into the deep well. Hundreds of soldiers poured from the tunnels, easily outnumbering the Royalist forces. You and your allies fled before them, but this was not the defeat it might have seemed. Without the stone stream to refresh it, the air in the deep well was a seething cauldron of explosive gas, awaiting the merest spark. That spark the Royalists were all too happy to provide. The explosion collapsed the well, entombing the Azunites beneath the mountain, and shattering Jane Cassinder's hopes of destroying the Queen. Would that Cassinder herself had been buried there, along with her men. But such an end was not her fate.
Jane's army is fleeing down the mountain. The woman lives, but we're safe from her. For now.
The victory is yours. We owe the Legion our lives.
I'm told that Jane spoke to you. She mentioned the old king, no doubt. And the Legion's role in his murder.
I need to know what really happened. All the facts, no matter how shameful.
Jane Cassinder spoke the truth, as far as she understands it. The commanders of the Legion did conspire to unseat the old king. The goal was never to murder the old king, only to replace him with his eldest son. But the king resisted, and the matter went awry.
You must understand. My grandfather was a monster. Even his own children despised him.
If the king was a monster, then they were right to remove him.
Yes, that was exactly what Hugh Montbarron said. The old king was prone to paranoia, irrational rages. He'd grown jealous of the Legion. We were too rich and too strong for his taste. Before long, he started seizing our chapter houses and estates, threatening to disband the Legion altogether. So Montbarron struck first.
If they didn't mean to harm the king, then why was he slain?
I wasn't there when it happened, but I'm told that the king drew a sword. The man wasn't much of a fighter, more a danger to himself than the Legionnaires. Who knows how he ended up with a blade in his gut? All the parties are long dead, and we shall never learn the truth.
We have a friend, an old Legion scout called Odo. Would he have known about the plot?
No. Montbarron told the rank and file nothing, so that they wouldn't share in his guilt. Little good it did them. They all died, innocent or not.
You were one of the Legion commanders. Weren't you part of the plot?
When the plan was put forward by Montbarron, I spoke against it. We had all made a vow to defend the crown, and it seemed to me that our word should be kept. But all the others disagreed. So I abandoned the Legion, left the hall, out the door, and never went back. The king was in the wrong, yes. But was treason our only recourse?
You were the only one who abandoned the Legion over this?
A good friend followed me into exile. His name was Garin Marcel. We served the royal family as generals during the war.
Jane told me something else. She said that she was the king's illegitimate daughter.
Ah, the old rumors. I can't say for sure, but I am inclined to believe them.
Jane Cassinda shares my blood? What else have you not told me, Lord Devonsey? The woman lost her father. Her family betrayed her. That doesn't excuse what she's done, but at least now I understand. I would ask one more favor of the Legion. Should you meet her again, will you spare Jane Cassinda's life?
Your Majesty, She's been hunting you and your family for years. Why would you ask me to spare her life?
This mountain once bustled with dwarves, and now they are gone. Dead so that I might keep my crown. My parents, my maids and courtiers, all of Lord Devonsy's men. Too many have died for my sake.
Your Majesty, think of the political ramifications.
If Jane Cassinda dies, do you think the cities of the East will bow their heads? No. They will curse us for murdering their living saint, and the war will drag on.
Whereas, if we come to an agreement and Jane is kept alive, the war ends peacefully.
You assume that the woman will surrender at all. I wouldn't make such a wager.
Jane Cassinda is too dangerous. She can't be allowed to live.
I understand. I only ask you to consider my words. The Legion has my trust and support, whatever you decide.
I shall send riders to all the towns and villages that support the Queen with news of our alliance. You have the word of the Royal Court. All Western Ebb will stand united behind the Legion.
My family should have recognized.
We've come a long way from that filthy swamp, haven't we? You've given us a victory that will be remembered for years to come. Escorting you to the causeway is the least that we can do. Are you ready to go?
Yes, let's head to the causeway.
We've had rumors of another battle. Is it true? Jane Cassinda's army retreating in disarray?
True enough. And the little queen is safe.
And Rosalind, what did you think of her? Worthy to wear the crown or no?
She's young and soft-hearted. With guidance, she could become strong.
I think that bodes well for us. Strength can be learned. Empathy and compassion cannot.
What about our proposal? Does she favor the Legion?
Rosalind agreed to an alliance. She and Devonsy gave their word.
Well done. But that's not all, is it? The news can't all be good.
My father tried to unseat the old king. The murder was an accident, but Devonsy said that...
No more. I don't want to hear. You think I hadn't guessed it was something like that? I still called it a lie. We can't tell this.
The people already heard this from Jane. It's too late to hide the truth.
If we win this war, Jane will be dead. Her words become lies, and ours become truth.
You're wrong, Odo. The story needs to be told, or the lesson will never be learned.
And what then? The people won't blame Montbaron. They'll paint the whole Legion with the same bloody brush. Kingslayers forevermore. We'll be feared, No matter how virtuous we seem, we'll always be a threat.
We'll keep telling the people that the Legion is innocent, just as we always have.
Truth is made by the stories we tell. My people have always known this.
What would the Legion founders have said? I can't believe they'd favor such a calculated lie.
Who knows? All we have are stories. That's the point. Those stories won the trust of the people, and without their trust, we wouldn't exist at all. Better this way, Martin. You'll see.
Jane Cassinda is the daughter of the old king. She told me herself. You never knew?
I always thought that was just a rumor. This changes things.
If Jane Cassinda is the old king's daughter, then she has a claim to the throne. Probably thinks it's her right.
Better to strike now while she's off balance. Still reeling from her loss at Glitterdelve.
Can we use the causeways to slip past her army?
Why not? The Legion built causeways to every corner of Ebb. A brief stroll is better than fighting an army, yes?
No. If a causeway ever led to the Spire, it's long since been shut. But your instincts are good. We need an ally who can keep her soldiers occupied, while we go after Jane herself.
We've already sealed an alliance with the Meisters. Perhaps they'll lend us their automaton army.
Jane could be anywhere. Do you know where she's gone?
Jane's capital is 5 days' march from here, maybe more. She calls it the Spire. Half cathedral, half fortress, on the summit of a mountain. That's where she'll be. The most impregnable stronghold in Ebb.
I'll speak to the Council. I think the Meisters will agree.
Hard to predict what the Council will do, but you're probably right. We'll wait for your word.
Spend your currency at local markets. Please comply with all local laws and customs.
Ah, the envoy from the 10th Legion. Always a pleasure to receive our good friend.
We plan to attack Jane Cassinda, but we can't defeat her alone. The Legion needs your automaton army.
And leave our city undefended? That, seems rather rash, does it not?
Irrelevant. We made a contract with the Legion, Meister Grimmelhaus. The Council is not above the law.
I suppose...
Capital! I can have the automatons ready in short order. Shall I make ready to leave? I should warn you, we may not return to Stonebridge again before this war is over.
I don't see any reason to wait. We'll leave for the Spire as soon as you're able.
The Spire stands atop Mount Jereb. That's a week's march from here, on foot. Our automatons will assault the town of Aegis Bay at the foot of the mountain. They'll engage Jane's forces and provide a distraction, you see. That will give you a chance to climb the trails to the top of the mountain and assault the Spire itself. It will be an honor to fight alongside the Legion, and may fortune smile upon our endeavor.
At long last, the tide turned. No longer was the 10th Legion fighting a defensive war. With the automaton army of Stonebridge behind us, we took the battle to our enemy. Under the command of Martin Guiscard and Meister Wolf, our army poured forth from Stonebridge in a flood of iron and flame. The journey was a long one and difficult. Had you marched with soldiers of flesh and blood, I do not doubt that many would have died, but the automatons were tireless. At last you reached your goal, the Spire. Crowning the sacred mountain of Jereb, it was the heart of Jane Cassinder's strength. No army had ever conquered it. Azunite zealots and Stonebridge automatons clashed at the mountain's foot. Blind faith and cold reason struggled for dominance as the ground churned with oil and blood. Above the clamor of the battle, you ascended a forgotten path up the mountain, seeking the Spire itself.
This place is lovely, but it hides much danger.
Wait, no weapons. We've come to talk, not to fight.
Quickly, Rajani. We shouldn't be here.
Jane doesn't know you're here, does she?
We only speak for ourselves, not for Our Lady.
Jane is first among our sisters, like her mother before her. We don't want to betray her, but...
Jane has lost her way. She talks of visions and dreams, a great tree, carrion birds. She claims to hear the voices of our lost gods in her mind, and that proves she is mad.
Maybe she is hearing the voices of your gods.
Our gods are dead, tumbled from the heavens and gone. We sought them long, across 1,000 divine realms, and never found a trace.
Not true, sister. Jane's mother claimed to have discovered a remnant, a forgotten seed of the first creation, the handiwork of our gods. But none of us ever saw.
What kind of seed do you mean?
She never told us the form it took, only that she could sense the power that shaped the world, still alive and potent within.
So what do you propose?
You spared my life in Raven's Rill. And when you spoke to Jane in Glitterdelve, you weren't the monster that she said you'd be. I don't want to see my sisters destroyed in Jane's pointless war. Too few of us are left. We ask for your mercy, for our sisters and for Jane herself. In return, we'll grant you whatever aid we can.
I want to know more about you, before I decide.
Quickly then, before someone sees us.
You'd help me defeat your own sisters? How?
We can withdraw from the battle for a start. Of all Jane's handmaids, we are ranked first, and she relies upon us to guide the others.
And we can tell you what lies ahead. The Spire is a death trap for the unwary, and finding Jane is not so simple as passing through a door or climbing a stair.
If you've lost confidence in Jane, why follow her at all? Choose a new leader.
Leadership is no matter of choice, not for us. We are bound to Jane. just as we were bound to her mother. The first sister burns brightest of all. Her fire sustains us. Snuff her out, and we would all begin to fade.
Jane's mother was first sister? What happened to her?
She died. At the moment Jane was born, her fire was passed to her daughter, and her body became an empty shell. The faces of mother and daughter may be different, but the divine spark, the fire that sustains them, that is the same.
Can you tell me who you are? Where you came from?
Your people call us Archons, but we have no such name for ourselves. We're just sisters, as we've always been. Our only history comes from myths and legends. They say that we served the creator gods before they tumbled to earth. We have no memory of that time. Our first awareness came with a sense of terrible loss, but we cannot remember what came before.
A strange way to begin your lives. What did you do?
We wandered the divine realms to tell the truth, I have no way to know. Always searching for some trace of our fallen gods. We had no purpose. Many of our sisters were lost in those years. They wandered off, confused, or their fires guttered out. Jane's mother led us here. She claimed to have found some remnant of the first creation, but she only saw it twice. And we never saw it at all.
All right, I've made up my mind.
Jane is deluded and confused, yes, but please, don't judge all our sisters by her example alone.
I'll try not to kill your sisters, but Jane needs to answer for what she's done.
No, you'll have no help from us. Not if you...
Wait. If Jane's blood buys the lives of our sisters, then what choice do we have? We agree to your terms. Beyond this gate is the Bailey Garden filled with soldiers. They're fanatics, loyal only to Jane. They think her a saint, and you'll never sway them. At the far side of the garden is a door, protected by a magical seal. Two of our sisters fashioned that seal from their own living fire. Now their lives are tied to the seal. To pass the door, you would need their consent, and that they'll never give. So you'll have to find them and kill them.
Will I find the two Archons in the Bailey Garden or somewhere else?
They can't venture far from the seal. Each of them lives in a tower on either side of the garden. We never go inside those towers. We never even go near them, so we can't say what you'll find.
I thought you wanted me to spare your sisters' lives.
Those two, the ones who watch the gate, they're different. No one speaks of them. Not anymore.
The spell they wove has driven them mad. They don't even answer to their old names. We only know them as the Archon of Vengeance and the Archon of War.
And on the other side of the door?
The Chancel, a place of worship for the Zealots who call Jane their living saint. And above that, the Sanctum of Fire, where our sisters dwell.
And by Zealots, you mean her soldiers and priests?
In the beginning, they were useful tools, nothing more. An army to protect her from the royal family. She didn't believe she was really a saint. But now, as I said, she's lost her way.
Enough about the spire. I should be able to find my way.
As you wish. Can we tell you anything more?
Are there any hidden places? Secrets that Jane wouldn't want me to find?
The dungeon, underneath the Bailey Garden that lies just ahead. Jane keeps her most valuable prisoners there. Look for the stone centerpiece in the middle of the garden. The door to the dungeon is hidden in its base. But you can only open the door by stepping on a golden pressure plate, hidden in the corner of the garden.
You haven't told me where I'll find Jane.
No need. She'll find you.
She's somewhere in the spire, probably watching using our eyes as her own. She'll know that we've betrayed her.
You should leave this place. And stay away from our soldiers. They'll take you for enemies.
We know how to hide when we must. Wrapped in a cloak, we can pass as beggar maids, as long as we lower our eyes.
May our sisters forgive us for what we've done.
Look out! And that takes care of it. It's a lovely piece, if you like that sort of thing.
Help! Over here! Please, help me!
You're not one of Cassinda's mercenary dogs. Please, for the love of mercy, let me out of here!
I prefer to know why you're in there before I free you.
That's fair, that's fair. I'm a thief, sir, and I shan't deny it. I'm proud of it, but there it is. Please don't leave me to these zealots. I swear, I only wanted to find something I could sell to buy medicine for me poor wee daughter.
You don't even have a daughter, do you?
Suss that out, did you? Ah, well, worth a try, wasn't it? All right, that's a lie. Tell you what I'll do. They stashed all me contraband in a chest someplace around here. Let me out, and when I get it back, I'll give you a nice, hefty discount on whatever you like.
And now that we know this, what's to stop us simply leaving you here and taking your loot for ourselves?
Your basic sense of human decency?
Where might I find the keys to these cells?
The jailer carries them. He lingers at the north end of the cell block, though he passes through here to torment us often enough.
I'll return when I have the keys then.
Have you got the...
I haven't found...
Well...
By Azunai's blood, where did you lot come from? No matter, we'll put you in your place soon enough.
yes?
Much obliged.
This one is finished, no?
I do hope you made that jailer suffer
You're with
before
the
he
Legion?
expired.
I'd heard that all of you were dead.
Thank you. I thought I'd rot in there for sure. I shall certainly bear this in mind when considering any future donations to the Azunite Church.
My sincerest thanks, sir, for my liberation. You have our deepest din of iniquity, for freeing us from that dreadful captivity.
Have you got the keys yet?
Of course. Just let me get this door unlocked.
Azunite, bless your soul, friend! You're a true hero, you are, and I'll be sure as to tell anyone I meet.
just finished healing.
All this fire and blood and the screams of dying men. The stench of burst guts, sweltering heat of battle lust, taste of copper and fear. Armies wheel and clash, steel turns to flame in the morning sun. Forever and unchanging. War without end. War without end. What is this? The foeman seeks to steal a march. To arms! To arms! May the line hold strong! All is suffering. All is destruction. All is death and pain and screaming. Cavalry to the charge. I shall to paste and rend their lines asunder. Hold the right flank. Archers to position.
That was barely enough to work up a sweat, yes? This one is finished, no? you're a girl. One. My, but those are extremely large guns, especially for a church. Another turret. Wonderful. I do hope this one's occupant is less bent on our debts.
Injustice. Injustice gives way to trespass. Trespass demands redress. Redress comes only through blood. If the son strikes the father, let his hand be hewn off. If the serf wounds the noble, let him suffer the lash. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth. If a man should trespass, let his feet be seared with hot coals, and let him be whipped from the city! Only through pain can sins be expurgated. The sting of deviltry shall be answered with a flame of retribution! Slight repaid with injury. Injury repaid with death. Death repaid with annihilation! Deviltry shall be answered with a flame of retribution!
And here is the Legion, their hands washed with innocent blood. 30 years, and nothing has changed.
A woman who calls herself a saint might have learned to forgive by now.
But the spiteful, selfish wench would not. Curious, no?
Do not seek to twist my words. I shall not suffer the treachery of the Legion. Not again. I say to you, lay down your arms. The days of your Legion are past and gone. When I faced the traitor Mont Baron, the gods of my mother struck him down. And they shall guide my hand against you now! Running out of allies. How much longer can you hope to stand against me? Cannot stand before my righteousness! Now you will know pain! The gods of my mother stand with me. Nothing but the ghosts of a broken Legion. Feel my wrath! How arrogant you are! My mother stands with me. You cannot stand before my righteousness! How arrogant you are! will know pain! Feel my wrath! The gods of my mother stand with me. Don't delude yourself into thinking this is over. I still have the favor of my mother's gods.
So, Jane Cassinder thinks to flee, does she? Well, we'll see about that.
The fires in this place give us strength, Legionnaire. My handmaids and I will burn you to dust!
I will not last much longer.
Running out of allies. How much longer can you hope to stand against me? For my righteousness! cannot stand before my righteousness! Away from my handmaids!
Again, the little witch flees. Are we truly so fearsome, my dear? Got one!
Defeated my archons, crushed my soldiers, defiled this most holy of places. No more. The gods of my mother stand with me, while you have nothing but the ghosts of your broken legion.
If any of you pretend to piety, pray to your gods now.
Your bloodline has been a thorn in my side long enough. Now, at last, it ends.
All better, yes?
Much obliged.
will not bow my head to you. Neither will I grovel or beg.
Give yourself up, and we'll treat you with respect.
You mistake me. I do not concede defeat to the Legion, so you need not offer terms. My gods have not abandoned me, not yet. They dance like shadows at the corner of my eye, and they whisper in my ear. I will go before the gods of my mother, appeal to them for aid, and call her fallen sisters back from death. And when I return, we shall drive you from this kingdom that is mine by right.
Where is Jane? Is she...
Vanished. She went to find her mother's gods, to appeal to them for help.
But they are long dead, unless she means... The forest, the place you call the Mournweald. It grew from a seed of the first creation. Perhaps it contains an echo of our gods.
And this seed, could it take the form of a tree?
I don't know. None of us were able to enter the forest, except for Jane's mother, and Jane herself. But I suppose it would take an appropriate form. If it gave birth to a forest, it might appear as a tree, yes.
Are you saying that your gods aren't dead? A part of them lives on?
Any fragment of the first creation would contain all the power of our gods, and perhaps a remnant of their minds as well. They would only exist as a potential, a possibility, but even in such a reduced state, they would be strong.
We've got to follow Jane. How can we get to the Mournweald from here?
Jane built this place on the ruin of a Legion stronghold. I've seen one of your causeways in the dungeon below. The gate was hidden behind a locked door, but Jane entrusted her handmaids with a key. I have it here.
I tried not to harm the other Archons, but I couldn't be sure they survived.
Thank you. They are alive, all of them. Soraya is with them now. I know my sisters. They'll see Jane's defeat as a sign that she led us astray. None of us will follow her again.
Now that Jane has fled, where will you and your sisters go?
We'll wait here for news. You cannot blame us if we hope that Jane might still be saved.
Martin, what about our army? Has the battle ended?
We've won, but only thanks to you. A few of Jane's people surrendered. The others all fled.
You're too humble, Martin. I didn't win your battle for you.
No, I don't mean to be modest. We held our own, but we'd never have swept them off the field. When the fire burst from the top of the tower, the fighting nearly stopped, with everyone straining to see. Then the fire went out, and Jane's army knew that she'd lost. They ran like autumn leaves before a storm.
Can we take the elevator down to the dungeon?
Yes. No need to stop in the chancel. It will take you all the way to the dungeon below.
I'm with you. Let's go and see if this causeway is still intact.
Made it out alive, did you? Not bad. Since you did old Fitch a favor, let old Fitch do one for you. Got some good stuff here. I'll sell it cheap.
I'd consider his offer. You won't have another chance to buy weapons or gear before you face Jane. So, one way or another, this is the end of our road. Shall we go?
Stay here, Martin. Someone needs to take charge at the spire.
I thought you might say that. Meister Wolf doesn't lack for nerve, but the man's a bit mad. Seems wrong, though. We started this journey together. I would have liked to have been there at the end.
Whatever happens, stay here. You'll be the last defense against Jane if we fail.
Small chance of that. I've seen you fight. Bad idea crossing swords with you. Remember, out of all the survivors of the Legion, the Radiant Youth chose you. He appeared to no one else. I think he chose well, and I'd follow you down any route. Goodbye, my friend. Azunai be praised. You're here. You won't believe what's happened. It started just before you...
Is the chapter house under attack?
Not just the chapter house. More like the whole bloody valley. Something terrible is happening. It's like the sky's been set afire. Come with me. I'll show you.
Legionnaire, it seems that you've arrived just in time for the end.
We're alive, aren't we? Don't be so quick to give up hope.
Hope? You think I should have hope? Look! The signs are all around us! Stars are dropping from the heavens and we are all going to die! You see? It is folly to think of hope.
Jane Cassinda hasn't won. Not yet. I can still get you to safety in the causeway.
Causeway? But I thought only Legionnaires were allowed to...
This is fascinating, but there should be less talking and more fleeing, yes?
Excellent point. To the causeway, then. I've always wanted to do this. To travel by causeway like the legionnaires of old.
I'm happy for you. It would be a shame to get this close only to die under a pile of rock.
Go on, head through the causeway. You should be safe in there.
Here, take this key. You'll need it to unlock the door downstairs. Until our paths cross again. Hopefully sooner than later, hey?
Well then, I find it difficult to believe I'm saying this, but I am proud to stand here with you. Let's finish this, yes? Dark Sister, protect us! What is that thing?
Jane Cassandra is close. She found her way to the tree at the center of the forest, and she's waiting for you there. I came to warn you. She is not alone.
So Jane did what she promised. She called the other Archons back to life.
Yes, the Devas too. And something else. Something far worse. It hasn't taken shape. Not yet.
So, those four-armed demons have a name.
No one has seen a Deva since the dawn of the world. They serve the Creator Gods, just as the Archons did. If Archons were couriers and envoys, then Devas were soldiers, the wrathful hand of their gods. Even then, they were said to be terrible, but not as monsters as you see them now.
What's happened to the Archons? Why do they look so strange?
The power at the heart of this forest has been twisted and ruined. It can only give birth to monsters now. That is Jane's fault, though she doesn't understand what she's done wrong.
Jane called something else back to life? Do you know what it is?
Nothing I have seen before. But anything is possible here. This forest grew from a seed of the first creation. It's alive with the power of the old Creator Gods. Jane has tapped that power. She has used it wrongly, yes. But it's still the same power that gave birth to the world. Limited only by her mortal mind. But it won't matter. If you strike now, you can still defeat her.
Is there anything else you can tell us? If what you say is true, we'll need every advantage we can get.
Yes, we would welcome a word of advice, or a fabulous mystical artifact if you prefer.
The danger won't come from Jane Cassinder. You have nothing to fear from her. The presence that is taking shape, that is the real threat. Destroy it, and the power in this forest will be broken. Jane's Archons and Devas will return to dust. That's all I know for certain, but I'll be with you again, before the end.
This place is coming apart at the seams. Hurry! This place is coming apart at the seams. Hurry! Jane Cassinder is near. Let us finish this, yes? What is... I have never seen magic on this scale.
So you followed me here. You are stubborn. And I admire you for that. But you should never have come. I have restored the Archons to life. Just as I promised.
You call them Archons? Their fire is cold and dark. Nothing like the other Archons I've met.
No, they are not as they were. But they are bound to me, and they will follow my word. The Archons are not all that has returned. The power of creation still lives in this grove, and anything can be born anew. Even the creator gods themselves.
Something is taking shape. There, in front of the tree.
The voices of my mother's gods. I cannot hear them anymore. Not even a whisper.
They are lost. You will not see them or hear them ever again.
You lie, child! Or whatever you truly are behind that innocent face!
No, Jane Cassander. I speak the truth. What remained of your mother's gods has been destroyed, and the power of creation has fled this grove. It will never return.
That power was dangerous. Better that it's gone.
No! It was precious. My mother searched for thousands of years, and this was the only remnant of her gods that she ever found.
The power in this forest might have been used to restore the old gods and all their servants to life. Not the twisted half-life that you gave them, Jane Cassander. A true rebirth, as they were at the dawn of the world. But you called upon that power to destroy, not to create. You twisted the power of creation to your own ends, until all that was left was an empty shell, rotted from within. And now, it is gone.
Why did this power respond to Jane and no one else?
Jane's mother was first sister. When she died, her fire passed to Jane. The first sister stood at the right hand of her gods. Only pale shadows of their minds persisted in this grove, but they remembered her. That is why Jane saw her gods in visions and dreams, just as her mother did before her. And that is why Jane could unlock the power that was buried here.
And the Archons I fought in the forest? The ones that Jane restored to life?
Dead, wilted like blossoms, and scattered to the wind. When you slew the reborn god, all Jane's creations were undone. In time, the forest will recover. But it will be ordinary, no longer the Mornweald, with the power of creation at its heart.
The forest was already corrupted, even before Jane tried to call the Archons back to life.
The first time Jane called on the power of the old gods, it was to murder Hugh Montbaron 30 years ago. She knew she was misusing that power, but she was too full of anger, and she didn't care. After that, the Mornweald grew rotten and sick. All its potential for good was lost.
So she came back, and made the same mistake a second time.
Yes, driven by anger again. So the Archons that she called back to life were nothing but monsters. It was the same for the Creator God. The creature that you fought was shaped by Jane's fury and guilt.
Guilt?
Yes, Jane Cassander. You can hide your remorse from yourself, but you cannot hide it from me.
We have a decision to make. What to do with Jane.
Think of all the people who call this woman a saint. Do you truly want her blood on your hands?
I expect no mercy from the Legion. Do as you like.
You've escaped justice for too long. If you have any last words, speak them now.
Shall I tell you of my regrets? I have but one. I must leave this kingdom in the hands of a tattered legion and a cringing, useless girl. I could have forged this country anew. You and your queen cannot.
We will see, but you will not, I think.
I'll make this quick. Goodbye, Jane Cassander.
Ah!
She is dead, and the Legion can begin anew.
It's over then.
For now. You deserve a rest, but it may be short-lived.
We need to build our strength and train more Legionnaires.
You will find many willing to join the Legion now, even a few who might surprise you. And you will need them, soon. The country is still divided, and the Legion has many old enemies who yet live. But you've shown that the Legion is strong again, worthy of respect. Your enemies will fear you, and that will buy you time.
We should leave this place, no? Our future lies far from here.
We part ways then. I will be watching, and one day, I will see you again. Farewell.
You bid farewell to the Radiant Youth, and he sent you back to our chapter house in Stonebridge, where I awaited your return. In the weeks that followed, news spread of Jane Cassinder's defeat. Her army scattered, giving us time to rest and regroup. Martin Guiscard returned safely from the Spire, along with Meister Wolf and the Automaton army. Only a few weeks later, elections were held in Stonebridge. Meister Wolf, who had been so public in his support of the Legion, swept to victory and was declared mayor of the city. He credited you for his success. The people of Stonebridge deeply respected your decision to hand over the dapper old gent to the city authorities. After the humiliating events in the Foundry, Meister Castle was forced to resign as Guildmaster of Ironmongers. The Cyclopses negotiated a new contract for higher wages, and with the help of Meister Fiddlewick, formed a new workers' union. For the first time in 100 years, they were permitted to leave the Foundry and spend their newfound wealth in the markets and taverns of Stonebridge. Cyclopses are becoming an increasingly common sight in Stonebridge, and many believe that they will eventually take their place as equal citizens of the town. After many months of confinement, the dapper old gent was sent to the gallows and hanged. His body was supposed to be returned to the Legion, but it vanished on the following night. To this day, no one has been able to find the gent's remains. It seems he is destined to remain a mystery in death, just as he was in life. With the reopening of the Hero's Crypt, pilgrims returned to the Rukenval, and merchants followed. The following winter was harsh, just as Lazar Basili feared. But thanks to the trade from the south, the people of Ravensrill stayed warm and fed. When spring came, many more pilgrims arrived, and the town of Ravensrill grew wealthy again. Lazar and his people built a new stone wall around the town, and reclaimed their abandoned houses and farmsteads from the forest. It is a happy change of fortune for a long-suffering town. In his last letter to me, Lazar added one other piece of news. Gunderic Manor has a new mistress, a witch called Leona. The manor has become a gathering place for scores of Lescanzi witches, many of whom are apparently quite beautiful. Lazar reports that the young men of Ravensrill have also begun frequenting the manor, much to the irritation of their mothers and wives. Since the local men will not hear any talk of banishing the witches, it appears that Leona and her people have found a new home, which was perhaps what she intended from the start. Queen Rosalind abandoned Glitterdelve, embarking on a tour of all the cities and towns of the West, meeting as many of her subjects as she could. The Queen showed all the energy of youth, and I think she fully expects to reunite the country in a matter of months, not years. Reality may not be so kind, as Lord Devonsey has tried to make her understand. In truth, the future of this country depends more upon what we decide. If she doesn't have the Legion behind her, the Queen is only a single voice, well-meaning though she might be. Rajani and her sisters returned to Stonebridge, quietly and carefully disguised. Jane Cassindra's defeat affected them deeply, though not in the way I expected. Their devotion to Jane was replaced by a deep admiration for your companion, Anjali. I think they saw in Anjali the leader they should have followed all along, and they have lately expressed a desire to join our ranks. I maintain my suspicion of any Archon who once followed Jane, but I believe that redemption is not impossible, even for them. As for the Legion, the rest of our story is yet to be told. We have a nation to reforge, a fellowship to rebuild, and old enemies who would see us destroyed. And we have questions to decide. Who will assume true power in Ebb if the nation is restored? And who will take the mantle of Grand Master? But these matters I leave for another chronicle, and another time. Whatever happens, know that you will not face the future alone. The Legion will stand by you, always.